Hi guys, welcome to episode 14 of Aeroland. In this episode I am starting to build the next area of the park, and this will be a second town, a small village next to the lake, and when that town is finished this whole area is really done. Like, it will be time to move to the next area, the next team. So I decided to build this seaside village or lakeside village, whatever. Which uses a lot of difference in height. So the village itself will consist of multiple levels in height. Because the lowering of the terrain can really be achieved when there's a pathway close by, I chose to use a fully elevated path. So what you can see here is me deleting all the terrain and make sure the path is elevated, and this way I can make like stairs between different levels in the village and stuff like that, because otherwise it would be too much work with all the terrain raising and lowering and stuff like that. As you can see here, this will be like a small alleyway between two buildings, which will basically lead into the city. And on this side I will make like a small, I think like a balcony kind of thing. This will just be like a place where you can sit. And there will be like two benches over there at the pathway. The wall near the water, I chose to make these out of castle walls because the buildings themselves are made of plaster and water are not a good combination. So there has to be something water resistant at the bottom of the buildings, like the foundations, and that's why I chose to use different walls over there. So I've made like the entry into the village, and this will be like a small plaza in the village, and it will not be as big as the other one. It will be like a small area with 2 or 3 shops, and that's it. As you can see, I tried using many different colors, at least a little bit more variation in colors, and I decided to use the red and the blue and the yellow you've seen in this video so far, and these colors will be seen throughout the whole village. So it's basically those 3 colors which will be used. And over here there's a little seaside walkway where you can just walk and sit and whatever. It just looks nice, and that's the main reason I built it. Over here I'm building a small shop, so people will walk over here just for a bowl of water. It's mainly just because I wanted to have a shop here, and people will probably be walking here just for this one shop. It sounds silly, but that's how the AI in this game works. So anyway, I'm continuing this city. The plaza will have a level upwards over here, so what you can see is I made these stairs going up to a higher level of the city itself. Village, city, whatever, it's all the same thing to me. I wanted to make like a pier here, but I decided not to do that and make one of these double stairs instead, and it just looks good to have like a wide stairs over here. I decided to make a small building over here, and I will eventually turn this one into a toilet, just so people will have a reason to walk alongside the water. Because if I don't place anything here, this whole the guest will just walk in a straight line from the stairs next to, on the right, next to the red building, to the stairs next to the shop I built, and they will just ignore the whole, the rest of the area. And that's something you will probably notice later, right before I'm building the toilets. I don't think I'm building the toilets in this episode. I might be, but I'm not sure. I recorded a little bit ahead, so I'm not sure where I will end this episode. And I wanted to have like one attraction inside this village, so I decided to make a trail ride. Because I already built this this gentle ride. So I wanted to have something more exciting over here, so people will have a better reason to walk here instead of just for a bottle of water. And what I wanted to do is like make the upper level, you see, make it like a lookout, so you can walk at the attraction, so you can look at the attraction from up there. And I wanted to have the attraction as close to the walls as possible. I already disabled the collision, but I'm not really sure why it didn't work as I thought it should, but whatever. At the upper level, like the blue walls, that will be like a small area with some benches where you can sit and watch at the attraction. And the pier, I decided to create a small one over here. And this one will not be as detailed and as important as the one I did before. This pier will be finished in like a short time. The whole purpose of what I'm doing over here is create the layout of the village and see where I want to go with the village as a whole. And when that's finished, I will be adding the details to each building. So at first I'm planning the general layout, and I think I did the same thing with, I think as a matter of fact, I don't think I've done this in this episode before. But what I'm doing most of the time when I'm building in a big area at the same time, I'm just placing the general layout of the buildings I know I want to have, and I just do this by making square boxes out of walls and rotating them slightly and stuff like that. And that's what I did here basically. Is I made all these square buildings without any details, just plain walls, and placed them all around to see what the shape of the village will be before I will dress the whole thing up. Anyway, back to what I was building. Over here I built a planter in the middle of this higher level in the village, with a nice big tree in the middle and some bushes around, and it looks very nice. I'm really happy with the result. It's something so simple, but it makes the village look so much more realistic, I think. So I plan to make the entrance of the ride over here, and have the queue line go through some buildings behind the attraction. I wasn't really sure how to do this. I'm just messing around a little bit here, and I decided to place more of these buildings around to see where I wanted to have them before I built the queue line itself. So here I'm just messing around with the scenery, and as you can see, when I move a whole building, I can't place it near, and it's very weird with the object collision, but when I place a single object it's no problem. So I'm not really sure what causes it, but I decided to move the building back a little bit and just have the sloped roofs on top of it. I couldn't really decide if I wanted to make like one big building or two separate buildings, but in the end I chose to make like one big building, because this way I could be sure that the path was the path for the queue line, that I could use the grid of the building to like have it going through the houses, if that makes any sense. So I had a hard time selecting the right grid height for the queue line. As you can see, I'm really struggling with having the right height, but I finally managed to do it. And I'm just trying to get the queue line in the right place, and it was quite annoying, but I don't have much to say about it, so I'll just fast forward this a little bit. So as you can see, the queue line didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, so I decided to change it a bit and go around the corner and have it go through another house over here, and that worked out a little better. And that's about it for this episode, so I'm going to the live commentary part and I'll see you there. So let's get over what I've built in this episode. As you can see, it is quite a lot, but at the same time it's barely nothing. I mostly built the general layout of this new village I am planning to build, and for now it's only just some squared boxes without roofs, rooftops and whatever. But this is the way I usually start out when I'm making a bigger village or a bigger part of the park at the same time. At first I want to have the pathing of the area in the right place before I start adding buildings and stuff, because in my opinion it's easier to place buildings alongside a pathway than it is to place a path in between buildings. So what I'm doing at first is I'm placing the pathway and then I'm placing buildings in between and placing the pathway around it, move around the building a little bit if it's necessary, and when everything is in place I'll start adding the details. So in the next episode I will be detailing all of these houses, because I forgot to hit the record button for the first 3 or 4 houses over here and decided to just do the whole village in one episode. So in the next episode this whole village will be kind of done, semi-done. And that's great because that means I can have some nice cinematic shots, which I will upload after the next episode. So yeah, I placed this attraction as well. I had a gentle ride on the other side of the park, and I had a feeling I still needed to have a thrill ride for the older guests, so I decided to build one over here. And when this village is done, the first roller coaster will be built in this corner. So that will probably be 2 more episodes, and then I'll start building a roller coaster in this corner. And I have some cool ideas for it. So I hope you guys will tune in by the time I'm starting to build that roller coaster. Anyways, as I said, there's not much to show, but 1 more episode and this whole thing will look completely different and a lot more awesome. So I hope you guys will tune in for the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date with my videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I hope to see you in the next episode. See ya.